Hey yo, what's good with y'all? It's your boy KingMxmba. I'm back with another banger. And today we're going to be talking about hype and media specifically in the NBA. Alright, I'm not going to hold y'all with any little intro before the actual intro, so let's get straight to it. So if you're new to the channel and you're a fan of the NBA, and you're a fan of NBA videos in general, subscribe because that's what we do right here. Alright, let's get into it. So as I mentioned, we're talking about hype in the NBA and specifically with the media. And how I specifically think that it's ruining players, not necessarily ruining their careers, but it's putting them in a disappointing state for a lot of fans. In the last 3 years, we've had Luka, Zion, and LaMelo all come straight to the NBA with loads of hype. Luka necessarily isn't in the same situation because he had some hype but just not a ton coming in, but the second he started doing well, the NBA completely hopped on and just completely rode the Luka train out. And if we're really looking at it right now, the NBA has given Luka so much hype that this year it seems like it's a disappointing season for him. Sure, his team isn't doing the best, but the man is putting up 29, 9, and 9, and people are disappointed. And this is because the media hypes up every single player so that when we go into a new season or we go into their first season, everyone thinks that this player is immediately going to be a top player in the league, and if they're nothing less than that, they're a disappointment. I mentioned earlier Zion, and I'm bringing him back up because he's another great example of this. There was so much hype with Zion after coming out of Duke with one of the most efficient college seasons ever, which is ridiculous. And we've seen him from high school, and he was by far, I guess, the most complete or most hyped prospect since LeBron. And not to mention, the hype also continued to build because he was hurt at the beginning of the season, so it took super long for him to start playing. And when he started playing, he was great. He was putting up 22 points off rip. But fans weren't that impressed because the media makes everyone seem out to be this godlike person and expects everyone to be a star off rip. And I think this is really hurting the game as a whole. The media wants everyone and every rookie specifically to be amazing off rip, and if they're not, they're a bust. Before I get into specific players that this is referencing to and players that this has just been proven wrong in the past, I want to bring up LaMelo. Everyone knows LaMelo's story. We've been following him since the freshman year of high school. He was one of the most hyped players ever. The man goes to Lithuania, he comes back, he goes to the JBA, he goes to Australia, and now he's entering the NBA. The dude hasn't entered the league and he's already one of the most popular players in the league. So what's the media going to do? They're going to hype him up. Ever since the season, Bleacher Report, ESPN, everyone non-stop is posting LaMelo. Pass, dunk, whatever. I'm cool with the occasional LaMelo highlight if he does something really crazy, but at some points, it's just out of hand. And great for LaMelo, because the man is actually hooping and he's proving that the hype is warranted, but imagine a player gets this much potential hype, and then they're just average. The NBA will specifically consider them a bust just because how much hype they had. LaMelo really is the perfect example of this because a lot of people thought that he could really struggle in the NBA considering his efficiency in Australia was awful, and it didn't necessarily feel like the NBA would be a better scenario for him. But like I mentioned, likely the man's a hooper, and the man's proven everyone wrong. So here we are, we got the media hyping up great players, expecting people to be amazing off rip. But where the main issue is with this, because most of the hype players are warranted, they deserve their hype because they're just that good, but the issue with players is that don't necessarily get hype. Every year, if you're not good your rookie year, people will label you a bust off rip. This man came into the league with little hype, and then he hasn't been crazy his first year and he's already a bust? It really makes no sense, because if you look at a lot of NBA players, they've heavily progressed over the years, and their first year, they weren't any kind of rookie of the year player. I think really good examples of this are Kawhi, Jaylen Brown, and Malcolm Brogdon. Kawhi entered the league on a championship team, and he wasn't that impressive. He was a raw prospect coming out of San Diego State with good defense, and that's what he showed his rookie year. He only put up 8 points per game, but the man continued to work, and look where he is now. He's debatably a top 5 player in the league. Last year at one point some people even had him as their number 1, and he's just a prime example that skills aren't shown right away. Some people develop them and become a player throughout the league. Another great example, like I mentioned, Jaylen Brown. The dude came into the league, he only put up 6 points his rookie year, and he was the 3rd overall pick. And each year, the dude has legit grown, and I don't think there's a year where he skipped a beat on improving. From his second year, he went from about 6.5 points per game to 14.5. Third year, he went down to 13, but he improved dramatically on defense, so I think that's still an improvement. And then he went up to 20 points per game last year, and then he's all the way up to 25.5 points per game this year. The man entered the league with bad stats, and he's a complete bucket now. So yeah, that's why I necessarily think that the media should not put this big expectations on young players, because it upsets fans of players who don't have this hype and don't perform well off rip. If you're a returner to this channel, you know that I'm a Cavs fan, and I'm seeing this with Isaac Okoro like crazy. The man was drafted with the 5th overall pick, and he came out of college as a dude who's elite on defense, and he has raw offensive potential. And then I think he's putting up somewhere around 8 points per game this year, on not great efficiency, but the man is literally guarding every team's best player every single night. Unless your name is Giannis, every team that the Cavs have played, Okoro has been on their best player. He's been on Trae Young, he's been on Steph Curry, he's been on LeBron, he's been on D-Book. The man has been everywhere, and he's played pretty good defense. And he's using all of this energy on defense, and he just doesn't have as much on offense because he's guarding the best player every single game. And because his offense isn't up to par as what some fans expected, they're already labeling him a bust. We are like 30 games into the season. How is a player a bust already? And I'm sure if you're a fan of another team, you've seen this, or it's been labeled throughout a player on your organization or just a different organization. And I just think it's generally one of the worst things in the whole league. If a player isn't great off rip, and even if they're a project player, like my guy Okoro came into the league, he was supposed to be a project. He's not supposed to be good off rip. And people know this and are still calling him a bust. So my main point from this video is just relax before you call someone a bust. Let them play out their career. Because 1 year doesn't define one person, and a lot of players, it takes a lot more than 1 year to become who they are in the NBA. Also, I forgot about this earlier when I was mentioning players who improved dramatically. Giannis Antetokounmpo averaged 7 points per game his rookie year. And if all these examples to you don't show that a player can be great after a bad rookie year, then you got issues. Simple. So yeah, this was my little rant on why the media puts ridiculous expectations on players and how it just affects the overall outlook of them. So yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. I'm going to try to keep putting videos out. And yeah, I'll see you guys next time. Peace.